following episode is with James Toler. Before we begin, I would like to issue a public apology and a personal apology to James himself. James and I's podcast was give or take an hour long, maybe an hour 15, and I only got the first 30 minutes of it. And James himself said after the fact that jumping in and taking action is more important than just education. And that's what I'm doing with this podcast. So, James, I apologize for not getting the entire thing. I apologize to the world that they can't hear your wisdom. And in a way, I feel selfish almost that I got to hear all the nuggets that you gave in the back half of the podcast and they don't. So, ladies and gentlemen, get out a piece of pen, get out a paper, get out a pencil, take some notes and learn something. The following episode is with James Toler, and that's where you can find him on all social medias. Owner, King James Lending.
Mr. James Toler, how are you doing today?
Oh, wonderful. Couldn't be better than I deserve.
So your origin story is pretty well known. You talk about it often, right? So one of the things I haven't heard and I'm not familiar with is if you could pinpoint the lowest moment, the lowest point of your come up, what would it be?
That's a fascinating question. I had somebody the other day say something to a friend of mine. He called me on it. He goes, James has never been tested. I thought that was a kind of a fascinating thought. And he said he's never been tested. Like
That's a dig on this.
It is. It was a dig, no doubt. But he basically, it was, he's done this or that, but he's never really been tested. And I get it. Thank you. One, that's not something he would know, But when you say a low, see, my mind has a hard time processing what that means.
Mm-hmm.
To some degree, I'm a stoic. If you ever study Stoicism, I've studied Stoicism a lot. I've read a lot of Stoic books, and the mindset there is more along the lines of whatever happens is accept it, embrace it, and move on from it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, I don't know how you quantify low. I don't know that I quantify high or low. I think that might be a weird thought to say, right?
No,
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Would you quantify it as more, say in your beginning days when you didn't have $100,000 to lose? Would you think about it as, oh man, I'm worried about the money I just lost, or okay, let's figure out this solution to losing the money?
Say that again.
Would you, in terms of framing it, if you lost 100,000 in the beginning, you would think about the money, right? As opposed to now,
I wouldn't think about money.
Not even in the beginning.
No, I never would have. What I would think about is the lessons from everything that I'm doing now. So if you have a fixed mindset, then you think about the money, right? Because you can't see yourself getting it back. If you have a true growth mindset, a real growth mindset, you're taking every experience as a learning lesson. Everyone. So whether I make money and I lose money, I'm really looking to gain the lessons from that experience so that I can then be better for the next one. And that's because that's what I am. You look at me, you see our billing and everything, and you say, oh man, you're successful or whatever. But the truth is I'm just a collection of experiences. It's not that I'm successful. That's the wrong way to think about it. I'm just a collection of relationships and mentors and very tight relationships and bonds of trust that I can lean on and they can lean on me, which equates to being successful. Right? So I think when people see something, they're not really seeing it for what it is. They don't see a bubble. Right? You remember that if they touched that bubble, it would pop because there was nothing real behind it. But the truth is that like real lasting success or real value comes from relationships. It comes from trust. It comes from like acting with urgency, and it's a mindset that you cultivate. I don't know if that.
And if you had to describe that trait that you have as an adjective, and following that question, Do you think that is learned? You said you are a collection of these, or do you think that's something you're born with?
I would, uh, I would say I'm open to to bad experiences, which helps me in a lot of ways. I mean, I have affirmations over there that I read every single day. That I'm constantly reading, constantly reading, and I'm trying to emotionalize them deep down in my core, my inner being, right? You know, I don't. Uh, that's how you intensify desire for something. Is make
Subconscious mind.
Yes, the subconscious mind, right? So it's a process. Systems and process has no emotional to that. Not. That's an operations thing. So, which is very important. I mean, very, very important. But the internal side has to be one first, because you'll never get to the execution side if the internal side is not. It's kind of like step 2, in my opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, getting your mind right is kind of the first step. And John his mind is right. So, you know, he's a brilliant guy. I admire him. I've done business with him. Yes, he is. Yes.
Another quote from your book is, I don't ask, how do I get rich? I ask, how do I become valuable? And if you get that right, wealth will follow. So how do you yourself in your business and to your network provide the most value to a real estate deal? Is it the capital you can bring? Is it the know-how of structure? Is it the mindset behind a deal? What would you say it is?
Well, value, if you think about a deal, becomes really in capital, the deal itself, and construction. That's how I look at it. Those are the main pieces to a flip or a commercial property or whatever it is. So, you know, if you're bringing the deal or you're bringing the construction or bringing the capital, there's got to be some value that you bring one way or the other. That's how my mind looks at it. Now, the mindset is very important. It plays a role more in the relationship and the consistency and all. But you know, in terms of value, that's kind of how I look at it: is growing in each of those phases. If I can bring deals, if I can find deals, I'll find partners. Right? If you found an amazing deal, you can bring it to me, but do it with you. You know. So that's bringing value to me. You know. One thing though, on like a mindset, I would say this: what does separate me from some people in deals is I'm a deep guy. I mean, you'll kind of find that out. So I'm a pretty deep guy. I'm an intense guy. So some people can handle that, some people can't. But it's good. What I tell you is going to be well thought out. It's going to be logical. And it's going to be built on like us being successful. It's not going to be a bunch of emotional stuff. In terms of like, you know, it's like, what do we need to do to be successful? That's what you're going to get with me. So that to me is value. If I wanted to be successful, I want to get around successful people. That to me is what I'm looking for. Who's going to help me become successful?
I agree.
Yeah.
And you've done countless transactions in buying multifamilies and over 1,300 loans, I believe, with King James Lending. This is another personal question, but what's the most amount of money you've ever made in one transaction? And then follow-up question: how do you allocate those big checks? Because as entrepreneurs, we don't work the 9 to 5 for an hourly rate. We get the big checks coming in. So, personal story: when I did my first wholesale deal at 18, it was a 5-figure check, and I looked at the money in my Wells Fargo account, and I said, man, UFC 285 is coming up. Yeah, I'm going to fly to Vegas, golden nugget, gambled till 3 a.m. One of the biggest regrets of my life. But how do you avoid things like that? How do you avoid?
That's a great question. That's a very deep question, and I commend you just to have that thought. The answer to that, in my mind, is to get around people who, one, your mentors play a role in that, right? That's delayed gratification to some degree. It's having a goal in mind on how, you know, your steps and growth, right? If you got that wholesale, your next job should be to get into flipping. Yeah. There's very few wholesalers But I found, and I would almost say none, to be quite frank with you, that really are successful wholesalers.
Hmm.
Very few. Maybe like a New Western or something. There might be people inside that company, but I mean, that's a rotating door mostly, of all those guys. But if you're an actual operator running your own show, there's very few successful wholesalers. I think you have to do all of it. That's my philosophy. You have to flip.
Mm.
So you look at me and say, James, you wholesale. I do wholesale. Yes, I wholesale a lot, a whole lot. But that's just one part of the business, right? I do a lot of flips. You say, James, you're a flipper. Hold on now. I have 150 rentals.
Right.
I mean, I have all these apartments and stuff. So, oh, no, James, you're a length. That gets back to saying yes.
Right.
Compounded. It's compounding, right? All these, James, oh, you do novations? Yeah, we just hit a $40,000 novation. It's all that. So all that money comes in to then what? Reinvest it back in your business. Like the game. And if I could answer that, would be until your machine is spitting off cash, you should. In other words, the machine you created in real estate will get to a point where it'll spit off money and it doesn't matter what back you do. Like I just went on a 2-week trip to Vail in Colorado and skied. It didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like there's a certain point where you live the lifestyle, right? It's not. What is that? It's not about the money. It's about the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. So what was that number for you?
What number?
The number of millions or hundreds of thousands coming in to where I am free. This is my life now.
I don't look at it like that. It wasn't a specific number.
Is that because your why is deeper than a number?
Because I like deals. I like people. I like teaching. It's the game. It's the game. I like the game. It's fun. I like to see people grow. I like to help people grow. I like to be involved in deals and come to me and say, James, I'm in a bind here.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got into lending. I had a buddy of mine come to me and said, man, my lender backed out day of closing and I don't know what to do. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to me to there's probably some flaw in my personality, my childhood or something, where you like to be valued and appreciated. Right? And it's hard not to be, from a psychology perspective, right? When you got a guy that's in a bind and then you're saving him, I like that. Just being valuable and being appreciated.
What do you think is one thing that new investors underestimate about the game?
It's consistency and working, because what happens is people get checks. They get a little money. In reality, it's not much money at all. They think it is. They live. However, they stop working hard. They stop the discipline, and then they run through that money. And they don't realize that you don't know when deals happen. In other words, so I had 4 deals this morning by 9 o'clock. I had 4 contracts by 9 o'clock. Okay. But those deals, some of those took 3 months to work.
Mm-hmm.
They've been working on, some of them I've been working on, 9 months. The other was a call at 7:30. So if I could say, I got a call at 7:30 on a house, and I was there in 15 minutes. 7:30 in the morning, I dropped my kids. I was at that house. It was a 322 brick home in League City. I was there. You talking about urgency? I was there, and it was a friend of mine. They already had 2 contracts on it. Already had 2 contracts, but nobody had delivered earnest money. There it is, 8:30 in the morning. I can send them earnest money and mean assigned at the house on their laptop. I was the 3rd contract, and I sent them earnest money on speed, urgency. And you'd say, James, you don't have to act that urgent. But why am I working? So there was literally 2 other people that beat me to that one. As soon as I heard about it, I was there in 20 minutes. So I don't know, they must have heard that last night. Why am I out hustling you? I don't even need to hustle.
There you go.
It didn't matter to me. That deal doesn't matter to me in any way. And I'm still out hustling you.
Still in the game.
You got to get to that point where it's, but what happens is a young guy will come in and do a deal, get 20 grand, 15 grand, and then drop off. And then try to reignite the momentum. See, there's momentum in this. There's energies in this. There's mindsets in this stuff. You know what I mean? You build it, and then you lose focus to some degree, and you lose every bit of it, and then you got to start over. So you never really catch fire, you could almost say.
How important is God and your faith to growing your empire and your business and catching that fire?
I would say, faith is everything. It's how you conduct your values. I wouldn't say that I think that a lot of people look at like they're very emotional in the sense of, from a business side, like they make decisions based on emotions or like logic, right? And from a business side, you have to be logical, right? You can't. So I think some of that stuff, and where I think, God plays a role in his ethics, and, obviously faith is believing that things will get better, that the efforts I'm putting in will produce, to his glory, right? And to his will, according to his will. But,
now, same question, but building with the right woman.
Everything. Yeah. I mean, people look at me and it's like a Proverbs 31 type wife. They're incalculable. They're invaluable areas. It'd be impossible to achieve what we've achieved without that. Impossible. You got to be humble enough to know that and recognize it. I actually was very fortunate. Growing up, my stepmother was that. My mom and dad divorced early in life, and my dad remarried. And my stepmother was a very, very good businesswoman. My mother is not. Nothing wrong with her. She's just not a businesswoman. But my stepmother was a very good businesswoman. And my stepmother helped my dad exponentially grow in business. And I saw that as a young boy. Well, just to be real with you, I mean, I don't even know if I would have, that lesson was very edged in deep in my mind of where we were at. As a unit with my mom, and then what happened once my stepmother in the picture. It was a very, very different life.
Perspective shift.
Very different perspective shift. Right. And it came with good and bad, by the way. It was all perfect, but from a business perspective, you asked the question of how's your wife playing business. I'm telling you, you get a helpmate that you have a true trust, like you trust each other, you're growing together. It's almost the number one thing that you should focus on first.
As opposed to building and then finding the way.
Yeah. I don't know if you can build it without it. As a man, you're going to have a hard time, a good woman will keep she'll keep your energies on where it should be, right? I mean, me anyway. When you're single like that, or how focused are you going to be? Is your mind on this woman, and then you're on to this one and this one or whatever? You have different people. It's like when you have a long-term relationship, every minute you spend with your girl is an investment. Actually, helped me really see that because when I was kind of dating different people, you would spend a month or two getting to know them and whatever. But every bit of it was wasted.
Mm.
Every bit of that time was wasted.
Can't get it back.
You can't get better. So you have 3 or 4 or 5 of those relationships or 6 of those relationships. You look up and you spend a year or 2 on nonsense stuff.
Mm.
So when you find the right one, every minute you're spending with them, it's an investment into your future together. So it's a compounding effect to some degree of your time. The trust is growing.
If you had to pick out or tell me what your networking secret sauce is, would it be from the mountains of books you read? Would it be from trial and error? What would you say? One pro tip or just the secret?
I've had people say, James isn't that good of a businessman. He's just a really good networker.
Mm.
And so I can probably answer that. I would say that one, becoming more valuable. Right? That's why I wrote that book, that thought. So the more value I have to offer you, the more I can bring to that relationship. So it's kind of like this thought. It says, if you will grow for me, I will grow for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get better. If you'll get better for me, I'll get better for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of the highest forms of friendship.
Mm-hmm. And respect,
right? Because I'm going to get better and grow my resources, grow my knowledge, grow my communication skills, grow my understanding of human nature. I'm going to grow, and it'll better our relationship. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a fascinating thought when you think about it. I don't think do it for that reason, but I'm a better friend because of that,
and a better businessman.
And so where I'm at now also is not where I'll be. So
right.
There's an element of getting better and better and better. So, when you talk about networking, it's like what value can I bring you, which comes out, can I grow myself? So, if I've got $100 in my account or I've got $100 million, I can probably help you different.
Right. Just based on the compounding of saying yes. And the knowledge.
And the resources. Yes. Those resources, mental, all different aspects. Yes. So I'm with you on that. But and the other thought to that would be, if I was going to go look for somebody, a spouse, the more rocks that I turn over, probably the more likely it is I'll find somebody. So networking to me is about meeting different people, as many people as you can.
And then if you tie that into the same analogy, once you find that network, do you stop there and grow with them, or are you always looking to branch out and expand?
Expand into what?
Expand into other networks, other groups, as opposed to like being with one woman, right? Growing with her. Yeah. Do you find your network and just grow with them, or are you still growing with them but still trying to branch out into other?
Yeah, I'm always trying to just meet new people. Find people that have common interests, common goals. They want more out of life, and they uplift you. Maybe when you meet some people, it's a drain, very draining. And other people, and I would say with me, that's just, it's good or bad. For better or worse. You know what I mean? Some people you get around, you get excited about the future, about possibilities of what's possible. It's infectious to some degree, right? And other people, it's, get me out of here.
Right.
It's a drain. I want people to feel encouraged around me that they can, and whatever it is, it's not for me to give you your goals or what you're after, or, whatever it is. But if I can be a help to you, ideally you want to find the people that will appreciate you for that right now. So that's kind of how I look at that, is helping people hit levels that maybe they can't themselves.
Do you see deal structuring as an art form or more of a numbers game?
It's both. It's 100% both. I wouldn't, it is an absolute art form, because the conversation I just had was, hey guys, this is how I normally structure stuff like this. But this is different than what you're wanting to do. I'm totally open to it, but it's not what I've done before because y'all are bringing different value to the table. Most people don't bring what y'all can bring.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I would normally structure it, but it's not quite the same. So let's tweak it here or there. Then we kind of go, I don't know what that might look like. You know, what value I'm bringing, what they bringing. So it's kind of fun, you know, to tweak. To make it work for everybody involved. You know, that was when I told him, I said, I want this. Well, I don't want to do a deal and you feel like you gave too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want you to be, you know, feel like you got, you're happy, you know, at the end of the day. That's the only thing that's going to last. We can do a deal and I can take most of it and you feel like, oh man, they just took so much. And then what do you do? Go around and talk crap about us and, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not, you just want something where they feel like your partner feels like they're getting a good deal.
Mm-hmm. All right. I have a segment for you. Okay. Rapid fire. Finish these sentences for me. My favorite book of all time is
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Scalability in Business Relies on
Relationships.
Sidebar, real quick. What's a scaling mistake that you've made in your business?
Relationships. And I would say the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. If I started over and investing, I being you, and had nothing to my name, I'd
find somebody that I admired, I looked up to, they were where I wanted to be at, and I'd find a way to get around them every day. I would say, I'll work for you for free. I'll be your editor on your cameras. I'll walk properties. I just want to be around you. I want to see how you structure deals because it would rub off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it will rub off. So I'll do anything you need of me. And I just want to get around high performing people. And I want to bring you value so that you want me to be around. Whether that's energy, some people can't bring anything, but a good positive, you know, attitude, you know, or a good vibration.
Mm-hmm. My favorite hobby is
probably traveling with my family and my wife. Yeah.
The most important thing about any type of investment deal is
what you pay for it.
What you pay for it. Helping others is
key to success.
To my children, I hope you
grow to your potential. You know, or you work on your potential daily.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried to instill that in them at a young age?
Oh yeah, my son's done a bunch of deals down. He's 10 years. My son's got about 15 grand. He's 10. He's 11. He's 11 years old. He's saved 15,000. He's got it all invested right now. Every bit of it. It's all invested in deals with borrowers and with me.
Mm-hmm.
So making money, investing money, getting comfortable with that. He does his own deal. He does his own partnerships. Hey,
if Texas real estate got much harder, who survives?
Oh, people liquidity. People who have liquidity or know how to find liquidity.